Alright, we're still continuing with the past exam paper that was written in Gauteng, June 2024. We were now on question number 2.2 where they want us to factorize. So here's the question. A squared minus ax minus 1 plus x, right? Now, these two, yes, there is a here, they're common factors, but here on negative 1 and x there is nothing, which is a common factor, which means that we must rearrange. So when I'm going to rearrange, I take this a squared and minus 1, a squared minus 1. Why? Because this is the difference of two squares. Then I take this negative ax and I say plus x. So on the difference of two squares, basically I'm saying that I've got a negative 1, and on the other bracket I've got a plus 1, right? And then here I've got a negative and a positive. I've got x and x, common terms, and there's a negative sign outside. So I take the negative sign and I factor out x. For me to have negative ax, whereas I already have got negative x outside, it means what? I multiplied by a positive a. And now here comes where most people get confused. I've got a negative, but here it's saying it's a positive. Now, this is an easy thing, because remember, a negative multiplied by a negative, it gives you a positive sign. So which means that here you place a negative, and here outside we already have got what? We've got x, which means here we multiplied this x by what? By 1, like that, right? Now, on the next stage, what do? The next step now, we observe here we've got a minus 1, we've got a minus 1 there. These are common factors. So we start by writing a minus 1 here. Now we are left with 1 plus a plus 1 minus x, right? So we now write it like this: a plus 1 minus x, like this. This is our final answer. And this question had how many marks? 3 marks. So we get our 3 marks, 1 for rearranging, 1 for factorizing, and the last one for that. 4 marks, right? Then now we go to the question number 3, where they say solve for x. We're given 3x squared is equals to 2x. So we come here and we say that question 3.1 wants us to solve for x, which is 3x squared is equals to 2x. So the first order of business is that we're going to transpose this positive 2x. So now it reads 3x squared minus 2x. Where 2x is coming from, we now say is equal to 0. Now observe one thing which I see. Between 3 and 2, there is nothing that is common, right? But when I look at the letters, I've got x squared here and I've got x here, which means that I can factorize, right? I can factor out letter x. So I will factor out letter x, and then when I factor out letter x, if I've got x outside and here I had x squared, 3x squared, it means I multiplied by 3x. Remember, x to the power 1 and x to the power 1, these exponents, when they add, they give you what? A sum of 2. Then outside we've got a positive, here there's a negative, which means it was a positive multiplied by a negative here. I already have got x outside, so which means here this x multiplied by what? By 2. So I've got 2 here, which is equals to 0. So now we've got x which is equal to 0, or we've got 3x minus 2 which is equal to 0. Now we continue. Now we are going to transpose this. Then we say 3x is equals to, when we transpose this, it becomes a positive 2. We now divide by 3, because remember, we're not looking for 3x, we're looking for x. We divide by 3, we divide by 3. 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 3 is 1. So therefore we can conclude that x is equals to 2 over 3, or x is equal to 0. There we have what? Solved for x. Now we must deal with this. 7 over 3 minus x is equals to 5 over x plus 3 plus 4 over x squared minus 4. And how many marks are allocated? 4 marks. So let me erase this side so that I can write the question and then we start the calculations. Okay, so we now continue. We have got 7 over 3 minus x is equals to 5 over x plus 3 plus 4 over x squared minus 9. What are we going to do? We must first factorize this x squared minus 9. But this is a difference of 2 squares. How do we know that? Because when you say square root of x squared, you get x. And when you say square root of 9, you get 3. One is going to be a negative 3, another one will be a positive 3. So 7 over 3 minus x is equal to 5 over x plus 3 plus 4 over x minus 3 and x plus 3. Now that we have done this, observe, you have got x plus 3 on the denominator of x plus 3. Here there is no x plus 3. Here we've got x minus 3. Here we've got 3 minus x. Here. Now, 3 minus x and x minus 3, they are close to each other. Now, what do we need to do? We need to use what we call the change of sign rule. This 3 minus x which we have here, it must look like x minus 3. And in order for us to do that, we must use what is called change of sign rule. What do we mean by that? Observe here. Remember, when you've got a negative here, how do you get a negative? You get a negative by saying negative multiplied by a positive. So what are we going to do? We are going to factor out the negative here so that this x becomes positive like the other one which we have here. And here this positive 3, it means that it was negative 1 multiplied by negative 3, which gave us this positive 3. So let me factor it out, right? Let me factor out. Hopefully you understood what we the explanation of change of sign rule. So here now I'm factoring out the negative, so I write 7 here over, then I factor out a negative. I have a negative 1 multiplied by this negative x, it's now a positive x. Observe, negative times this, it will still go back to negative x. And then here I put a negative 3. And when I say negative times negative, it goes back to a positive 3. So I factored out this negative 1. Now, we are not allowed to keep a what? A denominator with a negative, meaning to say that it must come here on top. So, in other words, we are now going to say x plus 3 here, our denominator, and 5 is the numerator, plus we have got x minus 3 and x plus 3. Our numerator is 4. So here on top now we've got a negative 7. Okay, now what do? We at this stage now we can dissolve the denominators. How do we dissolve? Observe, we are now looking for what we call a common denominator, right? We've got x minus 3 and x plus 3. Here we've got x minus 3, but we don't have this x plus 3. So we are going to multiply by, open bracket, x plus 3 and x minus 3. And here the 7, like I said, it's now a negative 7. So we've got negative 7 all over, what do we have? X minus 3. So x minus 3, which is our denominator, is equal to, here we've got x plus 3, but what we do not have is x minus 3. So we say x plus 3 here, 5. So we multiply by x minus 3 and x plus 3. And plus, here we have got every denominator that we need. So we now say x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 3 all over 4. Then here we multiply by x minus 3 and x plus 3. Now that we have done this, what is the purpose of doing this? Observe, now this x minus 3 cancels out with that x minus 3. This x plus 3 cancels out with this x plus 3. This x minus 3 cancels out with that x minus 3. This x plus 3 cancels out with this x plus 3. What is left is what we multiply. So here I've got a negative 7. Now I say negative 7 multiplied by x, which gives me negative 7x. So I say is equal to, here, now I've got a negative 7x. Positive times negative, it's a negative 7 times 3, that's 21, is equal to 5 multiplied by x, that's 5x. Positive times negative, it's a negative 5 by 3, which is 15. Then here now we have got nothing because everything was cancelled out, so we're left with 4, a positive 4. Now we're going to do what? We're going to, oh sorry, I made a mistake here. I forgot that I've got an equal sign here. So this, wait a minute, did I do everything right? Yes, I did everything right. So I've got a negative 7x, I've got a positive 5x here. So I transpose this 5x to the left hand side, which now means that I've got negative 7x and negative 5x is equal to like terms. I'm collecting like terms here. I've got negative 15 plus 4. I transpose this negative 21, it becomes a positive 21. When I say negative 7, negative 5, it gives me negative 12x, which is equals to, now when I say 21 minus 15, I get 6, and 6 plus 4 gives me 10. So I've got 10. Now I'm looking for x, so I divide by negative 12, and I divide by negative 12. 12 into 12 is 1. So therefore, my x is equals to, now, positive divided by negative, it gives me a negative. And then there's a common factor of 2 here. So I divide by 2 over 2. 2 into 10 is 5 over 2 into 6, that's 2 into 12, that's 6. So I've got negative, x is equals to negative 5 over 6. And just like that, I'm done. So let's go to the last question, whereby we are given 16 multiplied by 2 to the power x minus 1, which is equals to 0.5 x to the power x minus 4. All right, so we are now having this exponential equation. So what we're going to do, we're going to start by rewriting. We've got 16 multiplied by 2 to the power x multiplied 2 to the power x minus 1 is equals to, now I know that 0.5 is equals to what? Half when I write it as a fraction. So in other words, I'm going to write 1 over 2 here to the power x minus 4. But now I need to observe one thing. What do I have here? I've got 2 here, right? And what happens with this 2? This 2 gives me a hint that I must turn this fraction into what? Into base 2. All right, which is possible. Let's see. Now I say 16 multiplied by what? Multiplied by 2 to the power x minus 1. And now this 1 over 2, remember, for it to become 1 over 2, what happened? I was having a 2 to the power negative 1, but because I'm not allowed to have this on my final answer, what do? I write 1 on the numerator, and then to turn this negative exponent to a positive, I say 2 to the power 1 here. That is how we ended up having this 1 over 2. But in this instance, we are now reversing what had been done. So we are no longer going to write 1 over 2. We are now going to write 2 to the power negative 1. So now we write 2 to the power negative 1 here, multiplied by exponent x minus 1 there. All right. Now we have got 16 multiplied by 2 to the power what? 2 to the power x minus 1, which is equals to 2 to the power negative times positive, that's a negative x, negative times negative, that's a positive 1. All right, now that we're here, remember 16 is not a prime base, right? It's a combination number. So we must turn this number into a prime base. Now 16 is what? 2, 4, 8, 16, which is 2 to the power 4. 2 to the power 4 multiplied by 2 to the power x minus 1 is equals to 2 to the power negative x plus 1. Now remember, law number 1 of exponents, common basis, which means that now I've got 2 to the power x, right? These two, they add. So 4 plus minus 1, it gives me minus 1. In other words, I've got 2 to the power x plus 4 minus 1, which is equal to 2 to the power negative x plus 1. Now here, I now repeat writing 2 to the power x. However, here now I say 4 minus 1, which gives me 3. So I've got 2 to the power x plus 3, which is equal to 2 to the power negative x plus 1. Now, I must equate here. So I divide by base 2. 2 into 2, 1. 2 into 2, 1. And 1 multiplied by x plus 3, it's x plus 3, which is equal to, now here I've got 1 multiplied by negative x plus 1, which gives us negative x plus 1. Now I'm going to transpose this negative so that it becomes a positive. So now we've got x plus x is equal to, we've got this positive 1, Then this was a positive 3, it becomes a negative 3 here. Now we say x plus x, which is equal to 2x, which is equals to 1 minus 3, which gives us what? Negative 2. Now we divide by 2 on both sides. 2 into 2, it's 1. 1 multiplied by x would conclude that therefore our x is equals to negative divided by positive, that's a negative, and 2 divided by 2, that's a 1. So our x is equals to negative 1. All right, so that's how you answer, what do you call this? This is how you answer your algebraic section on your paper 1. Let's meet on in the next video. If you found this video to be helpful, please do consider subscribing. Thank you.